The words your parents say can stay with you for decades. As children, we tend to believe what our parents tell us because they're the people we trust the most. When certain phrases are repeated over and over again, they don't just hurt in the moment, they can shape the way we think, feel, and see ourselves long into adulthood. Here are 8 things toxic parents often say to their children. Number 1, stop crying. It's not a big deal. Every child cries for a reason. Sometimes it's fear, sometimes it's frustration. Sometimes they're simply overwhelmed. But when a parent constantly dismisses those emotions, the child learns something dangerous. They learn that their feelings don't matter. Instead of understanding their emotions, they begin hiding them. As they grow older, they may struggle to open up, ask for help, or even recognize what they're feeling. Many adults who bottle everything up were taught from a young age that showing emotion was something to be ashamed of. It's not the tears that become the problem. It's the belief that you shouldn't cry at all. Number 2, why can't you be more like your brother or your sister? Comparison is one of the fastest ways to destroy a child's confidence. Instead of feeling accepted for who they are, they start believing they're constantly falling short. No matter how hard they try, someone else always seems to be the standard they have to live up to. Over time, this creates a mindset where they measure their worth against everyone around them. They become obsessed with comparing grades, careers, relationships, or appearances because that's how they were taught to judge themselves. Children don't need to compete with their siblings or anyone else. They need to feel valued for being themselves. Number 3, after everything I've done for you. At first, this sounds like a reminder to be grateful, but when it's used every time a child disagrees or sets a boundary, it becomes emotional manipulation. The message isn't, appreciate what I do. The message becomes, you owe me. Children don't owe their parents for bringing them into this world. It was the parents' decision, so why blame the child? And children raised this way often grow into adults who feel guilty for saying no. They put everyone else's needs before their own because they've learned that love always comes with a debt that must be repaid. Healthy love is given freely. It shouldn't be used as a bargaining chip. Number 5, you'll never be good enough. Few sentences are more damaging than attacking a child's sense of worth. Whether it's said directly or implied through constant criticism, the message is the same. You are not enough. Children naturally want their parents' approval. When that approval never comes, many spend the rest of their lives chasing perfection, hoping that someday they'll finally be worthy. Ironically, even after achieving success, they often still feel like failures because the voice of criticism never really disappears. It simply becomes their own inner voice. Words repeated often enough can become beliefs. Number 4, you're too sensitive. Imagine telling someone they're reacting too strongly every single time they express hurt. Eventually, they stop trusting their own feelings. Instead of asking, was that unfair? They start asking, maybe I'm just overreacting. This kind of constant invalidation can make people doubt themselves for years. Even in adulthood, they may apologize for having emotions, hesitate to speak up, or stay in unhealthy relationships because they've been taught that their feelings are always the problem. Being sensitive isn't a flaw. Making someone feel ashamed for having emotions is. Number 6, because I said so. Of course, parents sometimes need children to listen immediately. But when this becomes the answer to every question, it teaches children that curiosity isn't welcome. Instead of learning why something is right or wrong, they simply learn to obey. As they grow older, this can make it harder to think independently, ask questions, or challenge unhealthy authority. Some become overly obedient, while others eventually rebel because they've never been allowed to understand the reasons behind the rules. Children don't just need discipline. They also need explanations that help them develop judgment. Number 7, if you loved me, you would. This is guilt disguised as love. Whether it's, if you loved me, you'd stay. If you loved me, you'd do this for me. Or, if you loved me, you wouldn't make me upset. The message is always the same. Love becomes something that has to be proven through obedience. Children raised with this mindset often struggle to recognize manipulation later in life. They may stay in controlling friendships or unhealthy relationships because being guilt-tripped feels normal to them. Real love respects boundaries. It doesn't use guilt to erase them. Number 8, you're just lazy. Children aren't born believing they're lazy. Sometimes they're struggling. Sometimes they're exhausted. Sometimes they're anxious, overwhelmed, or dealing with problems they don't know how to explain. But if they're repeatedly labeled as lazy, they often stop seeing it as a behavior and start seeing it as their identity. Instead of thinking, I'm having a hard time, they begin believing, this is just who I am. That belief can follow them for years, making them less likely to try new things because they already expect to fail. A label can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. The way parents speak to their children matters far more than many people realize. One careless sentence probably won't define a person's future. But hearing the same harmful messages over and over again can slowly shape the way a child sees themselves, others, and the world around them. The good news is that those beliefs aren't permanent. Once you recognize where that inner voice came from, you can start replacing it with one that's kinder, healthier, and actually your own.